from you to doubt El Dandy.
This is Robbie Eagles.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
Hi, this is Mimic. This is 5 times the world's heavyweight champion, the Scrap Daddy himself, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce.
This is Brian Alvarez, and you are listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Josh Armour, and thanks very much for downloading Wrestle Radio Australia. This is our first episode.
Oh, yeah! G'day, this is Big Brody Marshall.
This is Brian Alvarez.
This is Dean Brady of the Millennials.
This is the Jurassic Punk Sid Parker.
How many of you guys have heard the term kayfabe?
Hello, doggers. This is Jay Hunter from OSW Review.
This is Matt Grim Basso.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
This is Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, and you are locked in
to Wrestle Radio Australia.
I in the game, I'm champion, I'm Triple H. Undertaker, I'm your maker, bury the brother like Kane. Ooh, 1-3, hit the tombstone, hit the choke slam on face. Ooh, yeah, like a macho heel, turn like hunter muscle. If you suffer like tomatoes, I'ma keep a couple models. Ooh, and you may call me HBK. When I'm tuning up the venue, best to get in my way. Ooh, yeah, I'm degenerate, I love it, yes, I love it. If you ain't down with that, then I got 2 words for you, suck it. Too sweet, put your fangs up. Too sweet, hoping up the club. Let's be busy 23, got me feeling way too sweet.
I was trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it was just awful.
I've turned chicken salad into chicken shit. I will continue to do so.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. But a square peg in a round hole just never seems to fit. And you
This is Bianca Belair.
Hey, this is Kevin Owens.
Hey, it's Seth freaking Rollins.
It is the man, Becky Lynch.
It's Rhea Ripley here, and you're listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
That's right, you are listening to Wrestle Radio Australia. I am your host for the evening, the poor man's Lachlan Albert. And joining me, as always, is the poor man's insert amazing manager here. He is the best manager ever. It's my good buddy, Todd Eastman. Todd, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. So, have you heard about Lachlan?
Have I heard about it?
Have you heard about what the story that's happening now at the moment with us?
No.
He did 2 interviews right this week. They're coming up on our feed over the next week or so. There's going to be Lachlan talks to Darby Allin, and then he also talks to Kyle Fletcher. Now, since he's done these 2 interviews, it's all gone to his head, and now he wants to sit out until his contracts are restructured.
He's got a contract. Hang on a second. Well,
that's the sticking point. He doesn't realize he doesn't have a contract.
Okay, because you told me
he's
a hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah, no, he didn't even get the handshake. So he's sitting out at the moment. He doesn't realize. When his lawyers talk to my lawyers and realize they don't have lawyers, he's going to be very disappointed.
It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks here in making chicken salad land.
It's gone to his head. It's gone to his head, I'm telling you.
I think. Hey, Pario Magazine. What's this we? What's this we?
You've been on.
You're a special guest, mate.
Brother. I made the mistake of saying he's part of the team this week. That's the mistake I made.
Ah, right. Okay. Well,
yeah.
That needs to go up to all our lawyers.
Yeah, you've got to be with the team at least 10 years.
Thanks for joining us in the chat. We've got Pario Magazine and Andy from Bob Van's Refrigeration. Tonight, we are going to go off on a rage. We're going to talk about Rage in the Cage 2, Slam Wrestling's big event each year. I thought this was a cracking show. We're going to go through match by match and get our thoughts as we go along. The open up, Mikey Broderick defeats Tommy Knight. Todd, what did you think?
I really enjoyed this. Do you know what it was? It's the funniest thing is, right? Because I was I've got like a cinema room where I've got a projector. And I was watching it on the projector because I rarely do that. I usually just watch all the shows on my laptop.
Yeah.
And watching it on the projector made it feel, with the venue and where they were, it made it feel like it was a WrestleMania when I was watching it.
Yeah.
It made it feel, and especially with those two, Mikey Broderick being carved out of granite and then Tommy Knight being huge. it reminded me of parts reminded me of like an old school NWA, like this is the start of Starcade. Do you know what I mean, sort of thing? And then, but I really really enjoyed this match. This was the best way. Like they had, what was it, 2,400 people in that building. That's the best way you can introduce someone to Australian pro wrestling is by having those two guys in the ring, because you would imagine that the 2,400 people, what, maybe 1,000 of those people aren't regular goers of wrestling. So you've got two of the best in the country in the ring, showing them this is what we are, and that's a great way to set the table for this show, I thought.
Yeah, I largely agree with you. I think that they just hit the piss out of each other, really. I think they really did. Like they didn't hold back. They weren't pulling those shots. They were laying them in good and hard. I don't think Tommy knows any other way. I think if you're going to hit Mikey that way, he's going to join in and have some fun. I really, really like the pace of the match. I think that they work off each other really well and really nicely. And I don't think I've seen them wrestle each other before. I don't actually know if they have, but I found this a really nice, snug, good match. Yeah, top marks. Really nice way to open the show. I think that here we go, doing a Lachlan. For me, I actually would have liked Tommy to have interfered in the later in the night to ruin Mikey's chance, just to give it a bit more of a story. Tommy is so good and Mikey is so good. They're both so good. They can work face or heel anywhere. Like Mikey was still getting a very mixed reaction, and good on the commentary team for actually picking up on that and saying, he's not getting just the face reaction.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I was about to like address that because, like, I don't remember him technically ever actually turning face, but he was getting Mikey chance in that match. So it's like they've just gone, okay, we're just going to put him in there against someone who's really hated, and invariably he'll start getting cheered after he shook Slex's hand the show before, and you know what I mean. So, and I like it works for him, and having someone like Mikey Broderick. Especially with because I don't know at the end of this show, and we'll talk about it as it goes on, what's going to go on further with that main title scene. But if they need like another big baby face for that title scene, you can't think of anyone better than Mikey Broderick to be in that spot.
No, you can't. No, you can't. I thought it was terrific. I thought it was really, really good. It was nice that a show which featured so much local talent kind of opened with two veterans, because I guess, Tommy's been around for about 3-4 years now, so he is a bit of a veteran in the Australian scene. So, featured two guys who've been doing it for a while, particularly Mikey. Mikey's been around for ages, but who just really, really worked well together. I love this. I thought this was great. From there, we move on to the final of the Slam Tag Team titles. We have the dropouts of Scott Green and the Tuckmen defeating probably the greatest tag team in Australia at the moment, the Untouchables. It's arguable. I mean, it could be the Untouchables or it could be the Velocities. And it's a title change. The dropouts beat Damian Slater and Marcus Pitt. What did you think of this?
Yeah, I was about to say exactly what you were saying. Like, they've got to be one of, if not the best tag team in the country. And it sucks so hard that they're over in Perth, so we don't get to see them on the regular, like on like an MCW and like a PWA. Do you know what I mean? We don't get to see them regularly like that because they are so good and they have their tag team moves are so crisp and so you know what I mean? It's just so like, and Andy said it's 100% the Pariah in 2024, but that's beside the point. Well, is it 100% the Pariah?
I don't think it is. The Pariah were gone for about 4 months, and I think they'd agree with you. They were gone for a fair while of this year, Andy. Like, you can say it's the Pariah, but it's not. They've only been back in MCW for 2 shows, whereas the Pitt and Slater, both as individuals, have had great runs in EPW. I mean, Marcus Pitt's currently their champ. And as a tag team, they 1,000% deliver from the very first show of this year right through to now. So I don't think it is the Pariah this year. But we'll discuss that when we do our year in review show in about a month.
Like you're right. The funny thing is, I was talking with someone about that this week because they messaged me and asked me. I was just like, "Oh, so do you think like hands down this year, like women's wrestler of the year would be Delta?"
Would be who? Sorry.
And I was like, Delta.
No.
Delta. And I was just like, I think you're thinking of last year. Like, if you think of what she's done this year, there's an argument to be made. It could be other people. I won't say who it was because we'll end up talking about that.
Yeah, we won't derail this show.
Yeah,
as I said, in about a month we're gonna slap on the tuxedos and do our end of year awards.
Yes. So, but yeah, it's funny when you actually look at it from a 10,000 foot view. Like the prayer, like you said, haven't worked that much this year. The Untouchables have worked a fair bit this year in different federations. But that being said, really, really good match. They knew how to control, because like we've talked about this before through PWA and other shows that we've seen the guys on. Like I'm and as much as I love the Tuckman's gimmick and the Tuckman's character and everything he does, he is still very green. And Scott Green is probably on the same sort of level. Those two together as a tag team is great because they've got the crowd is behind them. They get time to work on their stuff without being overly exposed as singles wrestlers. And like the Untouchables did exactly what they were supposed to do in this match, and that was get those young kids over as being the big baby faces of that company. Because by the end of that, that crowd loved them. Just the whole that thing that they were doing, and the spots they did it when they worked bloody Damian Slater into it with the test of strength, and he can do it with the test of strength. All of that stuff is great. Like I dare say this is a lot to do with Slater and Marcus, is that they worked to the dropout strength.
Yeah.
And accentuated them.
I mean, much like the great tag teams over time, I have never seen a bad Untouchables match. I mean, I've never seen a bad Marcus Pitt match and never seen a bad Damian Slater match. So I have never seen a bad Untouchables match. Like it's impossible. You're not going to get it because they're both so bloody good at what they do.
Yeah. But yeah, I really loved it. And the pop at the end for the victory, for the dropouts, that's exactly what they wanted. It was great.
That's
a really, really good match. Like a very, very strong opening of a show. If you got the first match and then this match together, what a strong opening of the show.
Yeah, and there were little things about this match that I liked. I bet you that Slater and Pitt suggested that they keep doing the Chelsea Dagger bit, just to get the crowd going that little bit more and carry them through any rest spots that were in the match. And there were a couple, but they kept doing this and the crowd kept singing it, so it clearly worked. Really, really nice match. Slater and Pitt are so good. Like they're so good. They're both so incredibly good that I'm not surprised that the crowd ate this up as much as they did. And let's be honest, Green and the Tuckman, they're new, but they're not exactly they're not schlubs. They're able to bring us.
No. And honestly, and this is me speaking as someone who like works behind the scenes on shows. The only reason that they mightn't have put the Untouchables over for those titles is the fact that they've got to pay for 2 flights from Perth every time they want their tag champions to come over.
Yeah.
So that's possibly the only thing that stopped them from actually winning those titles.
Yeah, but I mean, look, whenever I know for a fact that when the Pariah won the titles, and this was a weird match, but the Pariah had just won the MCW titles and they brought the Untouchables over to work face. And it was a bit weird because they really can't work face that well. Not in a rude way, but they're so used to working heel that the crowd were a bit taken aback. But holy hell was it a good match. This was one hell of a good match. Like absolutely no complaints. So, I think that I think that just to make teams, improve teams, you're going to have the untouchables on speed dial for that. You really are. You're going to have Slater and Pitt on speed dial.
Yeah.
And
it's such
they are
such
their
a
name.
very good.
They're untouchable.
They're untouchable.
So
Yeah.
It's
Such
so
a well planned match. It was really, really good. Like I said, for these two matches to start the card, that's a hell. Like that is the way you start a card in a venue where it is, where they were, because that was massive. And let's just talk about how good that set was. It was obviously set up from the bodybuilding comp, but it looked unbelievable, didn't it?
It looked great. It looked great. It was so funny. It looked like a wrestling venue, which is terrific. And what I like most about this is all four of them displayed a lot of character. Now, speaking of character, the next match is two strong characters in Hugh Beauty defeating Vinnie Bronson. Vinnie is really come along to be a great heel. What did you think of this one, Todd?
I enjoyed it. There were spots here that made me go, ooh, sort of things, and we'll probably talk about that as we go on. But yeah, like Hugh Beauty, such a strong baby face. Vinnie Bronson is that Cockney sort of football hooligan type gimmick. Is very, very over it as a heel. So and I believe that these are two homegrown like Canberra boys, aren't they? Or two homegrown
Yes, they
Canberra
are.
talents, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
It's great to have.
We had Vinny last year on Brainier, and he was a delight. As much as he can be. I mean, he's a bloody football hooligan. What do I expect? But Hugh Beauty is just so over, and he gets such a big reaction from that Canberra crowd, and so does Vinny. Really, I mean, he's so intensely hated. I thought this was terrific. There were a few things where I was like, oh, we could hear you yelling there, but clearly the crowd loved Crofty. So bringing him out was a really good move. And I think that the dynamic between Hugh when he sort of loads up the chop and does the bowling action to the chop, just really lovely stuff like that. It was good to see they were in a good spot before the break for a couple of locals to have that kind of highlight.
Yeah. The bit that was a bit concerning, I guess, is that, and you might be able to clue me in on this. The guy that is the manager for Vinnie Bronson is also is he Josh? So he's also on a podcast. So is he actually trained, or is he just a podcast guy that's now with Vinnie?
I think he's trained.
Okay.
I think he's trained. I think
really worried because I saw on the social media they were like blah blah from blah blah and Josh takes a pile driver from Crofty. I was like, why are you doing that with someone who's not trained? You know what I mean? It's
No,
sort of like,
I think he works heel on their podcast and is trained, but he's got like shoulder issues, so he can't wrestle full time. So I think they gave him that spot.
Okay.
Too.
And I think Crofty too was very lucky he didn't break his leg.
You're not kidding. I noticed that there was an immediate sort of grab of the hand to make sure they were both okay, and they did the silent signals that you sometimes pick up if you know what you're looking for. So they definitely Crofty tried to look after him as much as possible. But geez, it did not look great. Like nothing against the big fella, but wow, it didn't look good.
Well, it's very hard on those floors because they're not exactly the most they're very slippery. So if you hit that table at the wrong angle, which Crofty's foot I think hit it before anything else hit it, and it just sort of like slid the table out from under him.
Yeah.
So
I think I would have preferred like a Death Valley driver or something.
Where he could have controlled it a bit more.
Which you can control that a little bit more. But
yeah. Aside from that, it was a great match, full of character.
Yeah.
Well, like the characters got over. And Vinny got the comeuppance he's been after for the last couple of shows.
Well, I think really the nice thing is that there were several callbacks throughout this that reflected back on Rage in a Cage 1. So if this is going to be their this is going to be their calling card event and their prominent event every year. It's smart that they're kind of aware that fans might only tune in for this one. So bringing Crofty back, and like Hugh was kind of the feud with Crofty transitioned to Hugh Beauty pretty early. So I think it's kind of nice. Anyway,
yeah. And like Crofty doing his best like Aussie Mick Foley impersonation as well.
Basically, yeah. He's got that. He's got the appeal of a Foley as well, you know.
Yeah.
You know, in that he just looks a bit like Mick anyway, with less hair. Then obviously there was a break because they said welcome back after the break. And that ran into the Terry Campese Invitational 20-man Battle Royal. Are we ready? Todd, I'm going to do my best. King Vance defeated Aaron Jake, Ben Braxton, Genghis Kong, Jesse Lambert, Jimmy Townsend, Jordan Locke, Lee Morrow, Lucas Fantasia, Mikey Broderick, Randy Chambers, Ricky South, Riggs Sam Osborne, Sir Matthew Hayter III, Skull and Slamu, Slex, Terry Campese, and Will Kiedis. Wow.
I think Rig loves this because every year he gets to dress up like Newcastle Knights player.
Oh God, doesn't he? And they hate him for it.
I
don't get the reference.
He absolutely loves it. Yeah, of course you don't. No. I will say, because I know that Riggs had a little bit of time off. I know he took some time off away from Newey. He definitely hasn't lost doing that cannonball.
Oh God, it's amazing.
It's still unbelievable, isn't it?
He and Murdoch have the best cannonballs in Australia.
I don't as much respect to Murdoch. I don't think he holds a candle to Riggs. It just doesn't. Like Riggs takes off like middle of the ring. I don't know how he does it, but takes off at the middle of the ring and lands perfectly every time.
What did you think of that? I mean, battle royals are really hard to comment on because, unlike,
I'm glad it was a battle royal. I'm glad it was because you just got everyone out there and it was all starts at the beginning. It was all the start. Normally, this is the kind of thing you put on as the opener as well.
Yeah.
Just so it was different that they had him coming back from intermission. Like the spot with Terry Campese got over like gangbusters. The crowd loved that when the Raiders theme started and he came out. And although you've got to get him some real tights, boys. Those the old budgie smugglers aren't going to cut it.
And he's kind of got to learn to sell because I think, was it Ricky South who hit him and he just looked at him and it was like, oh no.
Yeah, but that's because like Terry Campese's like a Canberra legend.
So oh, is he? Okay.
He's
I assumed he was a rugby guy.
Yeah, he is. So I like the fact that they've built more with like Hayter and Vance in this thing as well. So give them some more. Because I know moving forward now they're challenging the dropouts at the next Slam event for the tag titles.
Yeah, how are you with that? I kind of want. I would prefer the winner of a battle royal at their biggest show of the year go after a singles title.
Yeah, well, like honestly, like if we're going to be critical, I hate the way they got into it. Like I hate the way that they gave them the titles and then just took the titles off them and then put them on the dropouts and untouchables going into that. Like I hated that. That made zero sense to me to start with. So doing this on top of that is a bit why we brought, especially because they're probably not going to win that match. Like the dropouts are probably going to win. Yeah. So I don't know why you wouldn't have given them the title, given them like a little bit of a strong. Oh, there we go. Vance is pulling double duty tag match NV Archer on February the 8th, which is weird too because Archer is a heel.
Yeah. Although we'll talk about that more in a couple of matches.
Yes.
Because the reaction, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, this was good for what it was. It was they got all their spots over, got all their stuff. Like people got their stuff in. Yeah, I have no problem with it. Like I find it really weird to see guys like Slex and like Lucas Fantasia. Well, not so much Lex because like it's Melbourne, so it's not that. But Lucas Fantasia just coming all the way from Perth to do a battle royal, and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I
Pretty
agree
weird,
with
but-
you. I felt it kind of weird that Slex, like, and Ricky and Jesse Lambert and definitely Lucas, all just in a battle royal. Like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine.
So,
but
yeah,
you know,
I mean, like, too, maybe a lot of these guys might have paid their own way to be there because let's face it, you're working in front of 2,400 people. You don't get to do
Sure.
that very often. Who
Sure.
knows? Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, but there's a few that wouldn't. There's a few that definitely wouldn't. Like, I don't think Slex would pay his way to be there. I think Slex would have.
No, not Slex. No.
And I
He's
don't
only
think
coming up
Ricky's-
from Melbourne.
Sorry?
And Slex is only coming up from Melbourne, and Ricky's coming from Sydney, which isn't that far to Canberra. So it's
Yeah.
not like you're doing a like Slater Pitt, Jesse Lambert trip, Fantasia trip.
No, that's true. That's true. And those guys would have had to have been there on Friday night too, I imagine, on the Friday,
You would
to at least acclimatise to a time zone change as much as they could. With 3 hours, it's a pain in the ass, I can tell you that. I don't think there's much more to say about the battle royal, aside from the fact that you looked really good in the mask of Slamu. Moving on, we have...
That's downright hurtful. That is hurtful.
Said with love.
Go on. No, I'll get
Go
you back. It's fine.
I know you will. I just thought of that as we said it, and I know it's not true because you're looking good, brother. Anyway, moving on, we have a title change, the Slam Women's title. Another local, Rita Stone, defeated Kingsley. Can I go first on this one, mate?
Yeah, I didn't know that Rita was a local. She's like Newey.
Isn't she from...
Sydney.
No, she's from Newey.
Yeah.
She's from Newcastle. I first really paid attention to her in Slam, and that's why. Her first matches I saw were in Slam, so apologies, Rita, you are from Newcastle. I thought this was great. I really like Kingsley's character work. I like Shay Cassidy being with Kingsley. I like her whole Brooke Hogan, what's her name, piss take of being unable to sing the song that she does whenever she works heel. Works really, really well, gets instant heat. And Kingsley is such a fun character. I'm really pleased to see finally her ring work is actually catching up with the character. Like, she showed some really nice touches of ring work in this. Todd, what did you think?
Yeah, Kingsley's much better heel than she is working face. Like, some people are just more inclined to doing that. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like, Rita's been a prospect that has been coming along for a few years now. And like, it was hard because they're both like, usually with these matches you see like some sort of a size disparagement because Kingsley's not exactly the biggest worker in the world. Sure. But when you see the two of them, they're like the same size. I'm like, wow, it's like two kids wrestling right now. Like, it's not really any real difference here. So it's good. Like, there were some things that were a little bit off if I'm being picky, but that's just me being overly picky and just something that, like, if we were backstage, I'm like, yeah, maybe scrub that up a bit quicker. And the bit where, like, Rita was going to the top rope and she sort of had to wait for Shay.
Yeah, I picked that up too.
Where I'm just like, hurry up, hit your spot, kid, hit your spot.
She didn't quite Rico it, but I think that... I think that's a great reference. I'm happy with that. I think Stone Guy references Rico. I think that their energy and, you know, what they presented in the ring overall, really nice. Really nice. And I like that Kingsley sold frustration at losing the title and Rita sold how happy she wasn't winning the title. That's not something we see often enough.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, oh, hooray, I've won. But she actually Rita sold that it meant so much to her. And I think that's really, really...
There's obviously reasons why they've done it, but I don't know why they didn't have Jim Bro Jesse in that role as like
I don't know. I
Rita instead
haven't
of Rita.
heard much
And it's
from.
nothing against Rita at all. But I just
No,
know how over Jim Bro Jesse is at Slam.
I haven't heard much from Jim
And
Bro for a while.
yeah, it'd be interesting. So
Is she
there's
taking a
obviously
break?
reasons for it, and I don't know. I have no idea. If anyone knows, please let us know. I'm pretty sure I
Yeah.
saw her in some sort of a social media post the other day. So I don't think so, but who knows? Yeah.
Well, I mean, of course,
Um,
last week we did mention that Sherry Stevens is pretty much having a break
she's
or
retired.
has
Yeah, she's
retired.
retired. Yeah.
It's truly a good luck to Sherry, but I'm really going to miss seeing her around. Speaking of title changes, and this one did get a mixed reaction. Luke Watts was defeated by your new Slam title, wrestling title, men's title holder title, Dan Archer. Todd, what did you think of this cage match?
This is karma for you being an arsehole to me.
I deserve it. I deserve it.
Look, I don't know if what was going on with Luke is real or Luke is taking a break, but that felt like a very short match.
It was short.
Because when I look at they put up the full show, but then they also put up the main event as a separate video as well, and I think it only went for 12 minutes.
That's very short.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure if that stuff with Luke might be a little bit more legit than we thought, or yeah, but like Dan Archer is the perfect person to take that title off Luke Watso, because Dan is like when I think of the three best workers in Slam, it's Mikey Broderick, it's Dan Archer, it's Luke Watts.
Yeah,
they're the three guys that are like Slam for me.
Yeah.
So it's he's the perfect guy to put that title on.
And he very much got a pop. He very much got a hooray reaction. So clearly, he cheated to win, but it wasn't a major cheat. Like, it wasn't like he outrageously broke the rules. No, he cheated.
No, it's hard. It's hard to do in the cage. Like, how do you break a rule in the cage match?
Yeah.
Where essentially you can't go to the outside and there are no DQs.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I even though it was short, I thought this was a great match. You don't get bad matches with these two guys. Of interest, the video before the match showed that they wrestled on Slam Pro Wrestling 1 way back a couple of years ago. I mean, Dan Archer's a beast. He looks incredible. I think he's going to be a terrific champion for that company. And Luke, Luke is solid. Luke is good. I like that Dan kicked out of Luke's top rope finisher. I thought that was kind of nice. It cements him as a guy to watch and as a guy to beat. It'll be interesting to see whether Luke sticks around. It will be interesting to see whether Luke turns heel, even more so. If he can't wrestle, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts sending people after Dan and we have some kind of double turn in the next couple of months.
Yeah. I mean, looking back, Luke's had that title for, it would have been a year not to the day, but a year to, like, he won it at the cage match against Mikey.
Yeah.
The year before. So he has carried that match, that championship for a year through arguably Slam's like hottest period.
Yeah.
So, and he's had a lot to do with that. So congratulations to Luke for that. He's a really, really good title reign. Worked with some massive guys like Tommy Knight and stuff like the little feud he had with Tommy Knight was great. Like,
he worked Tommy, he worked Carlo, I think he worked one with Archer, and then like Archer's come back at the end of the year. He worked Ricky South. Like, he's worked great workers.
If you remember, him and Archer did the pre-show match at Starcast,
Mm-hmm.
the Hitman. They did the pre-show match on that, which was really, really good. It was like someone's like, well, that's one of the better matches on the card, and it was a bloody pre-show.
Yeah. I think these two guys are going to have their careers inextricably linked, and it's kind of nice to see. But the future's really bright with Dan Archer on top of Slam Wrestling. What do you think of the event overall, Todd?
Yeah, I thought it was really, really good. Like, it was like, if this is going to be their thing once a year, they're doing it right. Like they do. Every time we talk about one of these Slam shows, we talk about how they do everything right. They're doing it. Even though I know you don't like the whole American announcing thing and all of that sort of stuff.
It wasn't. It wasn't as pronounced this time. I think they're sort of taking their foot off the pedal with that a little bit. He wasn't quite as Howard Finkel impersonation.
But yeah, they do. They do. Well, they have seemed to have done everything right. Do you know what I mean? It's just they get their sponsors. All of their production is great. They're not trying to go live just yet because they're trying to work out everything to make sure that when they do, or if they do go live on a thing, it's going to be like perfect, which seems to be the hallmark of this like promotion, is that they're going to do everything perfect. Like unless they can do it to a certain standard, they're not going to try it. They're going to do things the right way, which is amazing and it's great and it's a perfect place for it too.
And I think that speaks volumes to the crew behind Slam Wrestling, of which I know Luke Watts is one. So congratulations, Luke. You had a great Slam in Rage in the Cage 1, and Rage in the Cage 2 just lived up to number 1. Andy from Bob Van says, I thought Hayter announced a break on Saturday before Slam announced him on their Feb show this week. I have not heard that.
I think you're thinking about just Riot City. I think he's just taking a break from Riot City for a little bit.
Right.
I think it's like a freshening up of storyline sort of thing. Like how can we miss you if you never go away?
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. Yeah. So.
Andy from Bob Vance also said, I love the timing of their stream. Saturday Arvo was a great time to be watching local wrestling. Not only is the timing right, but the price is right because it's free on YouTube. You could just type in Slam Wrestling. Thank you, mate. Type in Slam Wrestling and Rage in a Cage 2 will pop up really, really quickly. It runs just a tad under 3 hours and it just flies by. It seriously flies by. If you're a wrestling fan, the link will be in the description tomorrow because Todd's amazing like that. But it
Don't
just
suck up now.
But you are good at that. But it just flies by. It goes by so quickly. It's such a great show. Give it a look. Don't miss Rage in a Cage 2 because the Battle Royal alone has a who's who of Australian wrestling, and I think that the show altogether was good. And as Bambo says, as a local, the show was great in person. AIS isn't a great venue, though. They really dropped the ball on food, drink vendors, and security. Not Slam's fault. I'm truly sorry to hear that. I think Slam will still be looking for a place for their major shows hearing that. But, who knows? They might be back in the convention center next year, or maybe it was too expensive.
Yeah. See, I don't know because I think that thing was tied in with that, whatever that, I can't remember off the top of my head, whatever that big thing is they were walking out in. What was it called? The bodybuilding comp, whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I can't see them having a massive amount of food trucks with pies and sausage rolls at a bodybuilding convention. The strongman.
But
game.
still,
that
is a shame to hear. That really is. The
Yeah,
strongman game. That is truly a shame to hear. But what isn't a shame to hear is what else.
Sorry, I was just going to say.
Should I keep going?
No, just let me finish my thought.
Okay.
It is highly recommended. Like I know we always talk about like MCW, PWA, like Riot City. I know we kind of like almost skip over Slam because they're so very young in their life, like lifespan, because they've been what, around 2 years, 3 years,
2 years, 2.5 years.
See, 2.5 years, and they're getting 2,400 people into their major soap show of the year. There will come a time where we have to start saying, okay, look, we have to look at Slam on that same level as a Riot City, PWA, MCW, all the shows that we review, EPW, all the shows that we review on the podcast now, because like 2,400 people isn't a joke. And last year, what did they do? They did like 1,800 or something like that.
17,
I can't remember.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's back-to-back years, and that's a big growth. So from 18 to 24, that's a big growth over the 12 months. So it comes a time now where I think Australian wrestling have to start noticing, or not so much noticing, but acknowledging that Slam Pro Wrestling is one of the best productions around the country.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And you know what else is going to be a great production? It's going to be the Australian Wrestling Super Show, which a pro wrestling league alongside Renegades of Wrestling are presenting this the night before AEW Grand Slam. Now, tickets are on sale right now through Outix. That is OUTIX. Ringside seats already gone. You cannot get a ringside seat for love nor money. Grab your tickets now. You're going to see the bloke it's my left. He's probably going to be running around somewhere challenging Stokely Hathaway or, maybe under a mask. I don't know. He'll be there. Lachlan will be there. I won't, because I don't think I can get up to Queensland for February because I've got some things coming up in March in other cities. But grab your tickets now. It's going to be great. Do not miss the Australian Wrestling Super Show. Thank you, Jamie. In February in Brisbane. But there's other stuff going on around the country. Sunday week, which is not this Sunday, it is the following Sunday. Renegades of Wrestling present Indestructible. Up the top, we have Mitch Waterman against Emin. We have Tyson Reed against Matty Romano. We have the Glow Up against Starlux. That is a Falls Count Anywhere match. And we have the Bastard Brothers, Crackerjack and Gore, going up against Funtime Phil and JXT. I really like that Renegades are focusing on younger talent. Tyson Reed versus Matty Romano. That's great. Like, bring it on. It's going to be fantastic. Then, of course...
Can you clear it up for me, though? Because I'm pretty sure, wasn't Tyson Reed going after all the old bastards?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have a detour.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just asking. I'm just asking. I don't know if there was something I missed, that's all.
No, you haven't, but,
okay.
What will be a good match will be a good match. No doubt.
Yeah, of course.
We then, on Sunday, the 8th of December at 2 p.m. at the Melbourne Pavilion, not at the Thornbury Theatre. Don't make that mistake. I probably will. We have MCW Endgame.
I want you to do it so badly.
Sorry?
I want you to do that so badly. I want to get a message. I want to get a message on the Sunday going, I fucking did it. I fucking missed it.
I fucking missed the show. The lovely crew at MCW have already helped me out there. But this is going to be fantastic. We have a 20-person over-the-top rope battle royal for the number one contendership for the Intercommonwealth title. Who knows who's going to be part of that? That's going to be insane. We have the Dropouts teaming up with Mikey Broderick. So that is Scott Green and the Tuckman teaming up with Mikey to face the Midnight 3 team of Shen, Emin, and Carlo in six-man tag team action. We have Jarvis and Lucky O'Leary competing to become an icon. I get the feeling we're going to see a big turn at the end of that match. One or the other will be turning. Which one? Money's on Jarvis, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lucky O'Leary turns either.
Yeah. It's an interesting wrinkle they've put in that.
Yeah, they've gone 50-50. Who do you think is going to win that? That's a match that really fascinates me.
Look, if I'm like putting on my booking brain, they help Lucky win. Or what's his name helps Lucky win?
Robbie.
Robbie, yeah. Robbie helps Lucky win. Just to screw over Jarvis.
Yeah. That would not surprise me at all. We have, where was I? We have a sacrament. Ricky South against Edward Dusk. Wow, that's going to be fantastic, isn't it? That is going to be, I'm like full on there for that. We have Erica Reed against Eugenie for the MCW women's title. Again, like two amazing warriors going up against. Yeah, and it was a great match last time. I want to see more of it. And who knows, maybe there will be a third. Maybe the title will change hands. I mean, I don't know. Eugenie got a great reaction, except for one idiot. And then we have our 3 Stages of Hell main event. The Icons, Adam Brooks and Rocky Monero against, sorry, Lachlan, the Pariah of Eli Theseus and Gabriel Eros. Look, I think somewhere Slex is going to make his presence known.
Yeah, it's weird. Like maybe they were, because I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be heading to America around this time, and then obviously maybe with the injury when he had to sit out for a little while, maybe they had to put those plans on hold. But everything else was already planned through to the end of the year, so I was sort of like, So who knows what's going to happen? Like if he's in the building, he's probably going to cause some sort of a stir.
Yes. But either way, MCW, Endgame, and Renegades of Wrestling are both going to be great events. Like, if you're down in Melbourne, get yourself tickets now. Don't wait. And then obviously December 14, EPW's annual Reawakening, which is their big event. Like we just spoke about Rage in a Cage 2. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum. 23 years for EPW. What a fucking effort. What a fucking effort. Just amazing. We have, and they don't need to announce anything more. They probably will. We have a triple threat tag team championship match, DNT versus ATO versus The Pulse. We have Tyler Jacobs' final fight, an unsanctioned match against James Hartness. We have the EPW Invitational Finals, CJL against Hayden Zenith. We have the 4-way for the EPW Championship. Marcus Pitt, Taylor King, Jesse Lambert, Radmaker Kingston. What a lineup. And then, of course, we've got the Pen. We've got Solomon Blackwell against Damian Slater. Fuck me, what a card.
Yeah, that's definitely one I cannot wait to see. I cannot. And again, it's one of those things where I'll be like, why can't you just live stream? Why can't you do this goddamn thing? But
and as our good friend Jamie from Pario says, especially in Perth, it makes it so hard for interstate fans to attend. EPW is all on their local dedicated fans, and they fill those wherever they go. They fill it up. So
yeah.
Well done to that.
Wellington Stadium isn't a small place. So.
No, Wellington Stadium is huge, but those boys will fill it up, and they'll put on a great evening of wrestling. Do not miss EPW Reawakening. Like, if you're a wrestling fan and you're 50-50 on going, do not miss EPW Reawakening. Excuse me. We've got some future shows to talk about. OPW, Australia versus India Showdown has been moved to the Thornbury Theatre on December 22. Ticket holders for Ballarat will receive full refunds, and tickets for the Thornbury Theatre show are now on sale. For more updates, visit oceanaprowrestling.com. World Series Wrestling, my goodness, what a lineup. I just can't get over this. Matt Cardona, who was formerly known as Zack Ryder, Ash by Elegance, who was formerly known as Dana Brooke, Danhausen, who was formerly known as Very Nice, Very Evil, Raj Desi, who was formerly known as Jinder Mahal, Matt Riddle, who was formerly known as Randy Orton's tag team partner, Nick Nemeth, who was formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, Shingehiro Iri, who was formerly known as Shingehiro Iri, the Bollywood Boys, who was formerly known as the two brothers that used to hang out with Jinder Mahal, Santana Garrett, who was formerly known as the woman who used to hang out with LAX, Lena Cross, who's formerly known as Fucking Awesome, Sydney Akeem, who's formerly known as Sydney Akeem, and Jessica Troy, who's formerly known as one of Australia's greatest wrestlers. What a great lineup. And I still made Todd pop with my jokes. The tickets for that, they're just selling so quickly, as you can imagine. Melbourne's already 86%. Brisbane has 11 tickets left. I'm sure by now they're gone. Like, let's be honest. Adelaide has 69%. Sydney, 96% sold. Go to worldserieswrestling.com.au. Grab your tickets now. Go along, watch a great afternoon or evening of internationals mixed with some Australian talent. Lena Cross and Jessica Troy. Like, they don't need to announce anyone else from Australia. That is phenomenal. So, that is going to be one hell of an evening. What also is a great evening is tuning in every week here at twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia. You can also check us out on socials. You can check us out anywhere. I'm wearing, and Todd and I had this discussion, he's wearing a Sons of Anarchy sort of tank. I'm wearing
a Four Horsemen tank.
Oh, is it? Oh, Four Horsemen of Anarchy. Nice. Oh, that's lovely. See, I hadn't seen that one before. I'm wearing the original Wyatt family tee, which you can't quite see. Oh, there you go. But if you want to wear something really nice, you can wear our merch. Yes, that's right. Wrestle Radio Australia has merchandise. Go to Redbubble, search for Wrestle Radio Australia, pick up a T-shirt. Our 10th anniversary tees are still available, featuring a who's who of Australian wrestlers, some of the best and some of our favourite guests. Now, do that while we're gone. And remember, the money doesn't come to us. Oh, no. It goes to really good charities. It goes to Gotcha for Life and Beyond Blue, two charities that help look after men's mental health and just generally people's mental health, because we should all look after each other. Times right now are a bit shit. Let's look after each other. And we're going to look after you with a break where we've got an interview with Edward Dusk and a few other bits and pieces talking about his endgame match with Ricky South. So we'll see you right after this.
Early in my career, I had a mentor sit me down and he said, I remember it word for word, Edward, someone like you doesn't go far in this industry. Someone like you doesn't become world champion. And in the moment, it crushed me. But those words became fuel. Spite, if you didn't know, is a powerful motivator. And I wasn't gonna let some dipshit choose my destiny. This has been on my mind lately because now fast forward 2024 and I have you, Ricky, trying to do the same. And for what? Because you see me as something that you despise. You see me as less than, not good enough. You see me as nothing more than a freak, right? I may be a freak through and through, but at least I know who I am, unlike you. You see yourself as the example, the mode of what a professional wrestler should be. You see yourself as the regiment, the way to follow. Yet when I see you, all I see is an errand boy playing hitman. I see a man that started this fight, and then when it came for him, he ran away. When I look at you, Ricky, all I see is a dead man. Because you are a great professional wrestler, but the sacrament isn't about that. It's about two enter, one leaves, any means necessary. And I believe push comes to shove, you will do whatever you have to put me down. But that is why I am a different animal entirely. Because for me, it's not about what I have to do. It's about what I want to do. I am a sick man. I live for this. What I am willing to do would make the sun grow cold with fear. You want to choose my destiny, but I will deliver you to...
I think we've had an issue.
Clearly we've had an issue. All right. Are we good? You want to try again?
Can you hear me now, my friend?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay. Oh, I can't hear you because obviously my thing's being a dick again. Oh, it should be working. Okay. Well, that's working.
Could you hear Dusk?
Oh, this is fun. Can you hear me, Jeff?
Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you. Everything's gone pear-shaped. We can hear both of you. Well, that helps. If you can just
Yeah.
relay to me what Jeff is saying, and then I'll relay back.
Andy's saying
Dusk
that,
was
that
fine
it's
for
such
you.
riveting content. But this is the best show on
Everything
Thursdays.
is gone. Oh, what the heck? Everything's right for everybody else. It's just not me. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear Jeff?
Yes, I can hear.
I'm talking about the people at home, mate. Oh, we can hear both of you. Okay. Well, they can hear both of us. Okay. But I can't hear him. And unmute your computer. It's not fucking muted. I just went through and checked it. That's why I know. Say something, Jeff.
Okay, something, Jeff. No. Something? No.
Yeah, now I can hear you. Now
you can hear me. Did you want to?
Yes.
Did you want to replay the promo?
Look, no.
Okay.
Unless you want a bit of a break, then we can. Other than that, I'm just going to have to edit. That's all. Which is annoying because I don't like doing that.
You can edit to write. Welcome back to Making Chicken Salad, the longest running Australian wrestling podcast where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling, where nothing ever goes wrong and we have no audio problems.
Not on the podcast. Not on the podcast.
Right, let's move on. So there's a little bit going on around the world. I mean, let's be honest. Let's look at WWE first. On Friday, SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis introduced the WWE Women's United States Championship in a vignette. Nothing's been said on Raw about this. Todd, what do you think of the Women's United States Championship?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Because I think there are enough girls that can go around. And when they did it, they also explained that it's happening. It's the title that'll be floated between SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
So very much like the tag titles, which I don't mind. I think it's a good idea.
I like it. I think there's enough women. I think, however, they will need to call a couple up from NXT. And there's a few that are ready, let's be honest. There's some that,
Yeah, because I was going to say, not necessarily if you're going to float it between that, but they've already got like a mid-card belt in NXT for women, the North American title. So exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they would have. They would possibly have to. But it's good for the girls that they don't necessarily see as like world champions to test them out.
Yeah,
like Jamie
Indy
says
Hubble.
from Paris, there has to be Chelsea's belt. Like, let's see Chelsea have a run with it.
Yeah, or Indy. Indy would be great in that role. Speaking of which, Dakota Kai is back. Dakota's back ahead of Damage Control's match against the Pure Fusion Collective on Monday. Shocking. It was revealed that Dakota Kai had returned from her injury. The reunited trio defeated Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Sonya Deville in a 6-woman tag team match. Kai had been out of action for the last 3 months with a torn meniscus. Back in August, she was scheduled to face off against Deville on Raw, but was attacked backstage by Pure Fusion, which wrote her off TV. It's good to see Dakota back. It really is. And she looks pretty crisp.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good shock because I hadn't heard it on any of the dirt sheets that she was ready to come back at all. So they hid that well. Yeah, they hid that well.
And she got a nice pop.
Yeah. It's lucky that it was only a torn meniscus, so it's only a 3-month sort of thing. Like ACL, you're out for like 8, 9. Like I think that's what Asuka's got.
Yeah. We might see Asuka at the Rumble, but not before.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed.
Everything crossed. So, I mean, obviously, around the corner in about 3 weeks, we have the Survivor Series War Games on Saturday, 30th of November in Vancouver. It will be Sunday, December 1 here. Jamie, we agree with you. Fingers crossed Dakota can stay healthy for an extended period. She is such a good talent that it would be nice to see her around for a longer amount of time. So the War Games match is the OG Bloodline. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Sami Uso, alongside someone to be announced and confirmed against the Bloodline of Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tamatonga, and Tongaloa, and someone to be confirmed. And the other announced match, of course, is Gunther defending his title against Damian Priest. Who do you think are going to be the mystery men? Who do you think is going to be in the OG Bloodline, and who do you think is going to be in the new Bloodline?
Well, here's a question to you. Do you think it's going to be Seth and Bronson?
I think it could be. I think they're heading that way. I'm happy that it's Bronson, but I'm not so happy that it's Seth. I think they should keep Seth and Roman apart.
Yeah, because he was very adamant about not ever wanting to. And if I ever saw him again, I'd want to curb stomp him.
I mean, it's either that or it's a couple of family members, which is possible as well.
Yeah. What have they got? They got what, 2 weeks? So they can. So if they were going to 2 weeks, then they would have to do something with Seth and Roman before then, if they wanted to do this. It's going to be very interesting. Because I can't think of anyone else that they could fold into it that are like currently working in a feud type situation that it would fit. Because if you think about it, like those two sort of fit, being the fact that they can't not like I know that they've got a match. They had a match, or they've got a match this Monday on Raw, which was pre-taped, last Monday. So I don't know how that ended. I've seen little bits and pieces of how it ended. So it leads me to believe that maybe it's still going this way, but who knows? It's going to be very interesting in the next couple of weeks.
It's very good. It also shows you that Roman is the key to the bloodline. He really is. He's the key. And
yeah, but somebody else pointed out to me the other day too that Roman's not actually said sorry or like been contrite about anything just yet.
Isn't that
at
great?
all?
Isn't that great?
So
isn't it
we've
fantastic?
still got that to come. Like, I have to think that's got to happen for things to move forward a bit more.
That on SmackDown this week, Sami was like, "You need to apologize to him," and Roman just went, "Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm listening to this jackass." You know,
yeah, I'm sorry you wasted my time.
For wasting my time. All this tension that Roman has felt with Sami just boiled over, and it was quite wonderful because I think there was a lot of tension previously where Roman found Sami a joke and then got really aggravated by his attitude. And it just came out. It was so good. It was such a good promo. Roman Reigns as a promo, I can't think of many better than him. What else could you see added to the Survivor Series card? There's a couple of matches I think will happen.
Maybe Sheamus and Breaker.
Yeah.
Maybe. But see, are they going to do 4 matches like normal?
Yeah,
because if they do, I think there's going to be a women's.
There's going to be the women's
War Games.
I think we're probably going to see the Final Testament against the Six.
Yeah.
And I think we're also going to see Owens against Randy.
No, because I think you might see Owens and maybe Cody, because Randy's out for the foreseeable future.
Oh, was that to absolutely write him off?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope he's
That was to write him off. I think it's all storyline.
Okay. Well, then good. I mean, when considering Randy's in his 40s now, you start to go, oh well, hope the man's okay.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's going to be a great show. I don't think there's any way this will drop the ball.
Yeah.
I'm more interested to see how they get there with this War Games than anything else.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. But the Women's War Games is starting to become clearer as well. Now we move over to AEW. Ring of Honor Final Battle is going to be held at the Hammerstein Ballroom, but it's the Matt Men podcast reports that that's not the only show that Tony Khan is planning to bring to the Hammerstein Ballroom. They're reporting that AEW Collision will air live from the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City on Saturday, December 21, the day after the venue is reportedly slated to host Ring of Honor Final Battle. If the report comes to fruition, this will be the first AEW event to ever take place from the Hammerstein. Sure. Sure.
Which is cool, but it's pretty shit for poor GCW.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And nobody's mentioning that at all, I've noticed.
No.
Like the difference is, sorry, before you go on, the difference is if they do something at the Hammerstein Ballroom, Tony could go full on ECW.
Yeah.
Like, because he would pay for Enter Sandman. For Sandman.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who knows? It's interesting.
I say this every time, and I was a massive fan of ECW. How is that brand still kicking around? I mean, people still pop for it.
Look, yeah, well, you saw NXT last week.
But that was well done. I think Tony would over-labor it.
I guess we'll see. We'll see if it happens. Like, that's just me being completely speculative because of where it is.
Of course.
So,
what is something you can speculate about is that a double title match may be on the cards for Wrestle Kingdom 19 after Konosuke Takeshita defeated TJP to retain the AEW International title NJPW Fighting Spirit Unleashed. Never openweight champion Shingo Takagi came out and issued a double title match for January 4 at the Tokyo Dome. My fucking God, that will be something.
Do you think, well, because I can't see AEW giving that belt to Takagi. So, New Japan going to put the title on Takeshita?
I'd say so. But
I suppose it is only, and I say this in the most respectful way, it is only the never openweight title.
Yeah, and it's not what it was, when it was going from Ishii to Suzuki to the guy who looks like a banker and will beat the shit out of you. The wrestler.
Yes, I know who you're talking about, Shibata.
Yep. Shibata, yeah. It's not the same title it was when Shibata or Suzuki or Ishii had it. It's not quite got that weight. However, I think this will be one fucking great match. And the chance to see Takeshita and Takagi beat the shit out of each other is going to be great. Yeah. Okay. Let's get some predictions going for AEW Full Gear. It is on Saturday next weekend, so it'll be Sunday here. Held in Newark, New Jersey, we have AEW World... let's go from the bottom, shall we? In the 0 hour, Costco guy AJ against QT Marshall.
That match is for free, and I still want my money back.
Yeah, it's a match that will happen. I agree with you completely. 4-way match for the AEW Tag Team titles. Private Party will defend against the Outrunners, House of Black, and a team to be determined. Who's going to win and why?
God, I hope it's Private Party.
I hope
it is. Like, I know that Outrunners have got this like underground of momentum about people behind them, but if they do that, they are really cutting the legs out from under Private Party.
Private Party worked hard and long to get to this point. Give them a decent run with it.
Yeah.
Really. Give them a decent run.
Yeah. Like, the fact that it's a 4-way for their, like, big first title defense, I don't like. I would have put them in there with some decent, like, as much as I hate saying it, like, the Undisputed Kingdom or somewhere like that. Yeah. Somewhere they can get a good, solid title defense off.
Even FTR. Even get FTR to do a respect match with them. Great. They got a great match out of it.
FTR couldn't even qualify for the 4-way. They're the ones that lost to House of Black, I think, this week.
Yeah. MJF against Roderick Strong.
I can't believe that this is what the match is going to be. Like, it was supposed to be Adam Cole.
Well,
and
probably
they're doing
be
a... Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work into a 3-way, but they had to win 3 matches in a row. So Adam Cole's going to have to win 3 matches between now and, like, 2 weeks, which I don't think is possible. There's not enough time for him to do it. So it looks like it's just going to be MJF and Roddy, which, on the face of it, isn't going to be a bad match, but it's still not the match that people want. No. And does that mean that they're going to hold that off till, what was it, Wrestle Dream, or what is it called? What's the last show of the year called?
I think it is. No, it's not Wrestle Dream. It's
Dynasty.
Dynasty.
World's End.
World's End.
Maybe that's when we finally get to see MJF and Cole. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. Bobby Lashley against Swerve Strickland. World's End.
Yeah. Jeez. Who do you have win that match? Like, I'm asking you, Jeff, who would you have win that match? Because Bobby, that's his first match in AEW, and Swerve Strickland is Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
So who do you have win that match?
Double count out. Double count out. Personally, I would have rather have seen Swerve against Shelton, and Swerve goes over, and that builds to Bobby.
But they've already done Swerve and Shelton.
Yeah.
They did on Dynamite.
I'd have held it off. Jay White against Hangman Page. This is that I'm interested in.
Yeah, give me a banger. I think Hangers wins it, but I'd like Jay White too.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What is my main event of the show? Will Ospreay against Carl Fletcher.
I think Ospreay must win. As much as again, I think there'll be some fuckery in it. Maybe we see Davis turn.
That's what I'm
on
thinking.
Ospreay.
I'm thinking, and that's how Kyle wins. There's no secret that Will really likes Kyle. They did team here, and we were supposed to have at an MCW show many years ago. We were supposed to have Aussie Open, but Mark Davis was unable to get into the country for missing flight reasons. Ospreay was on the show, so they teamed Ospreay and Fletcher together, and they had such a great time. It's clear they like each other so much. So I would not be surprised if Kyle wins. TNT champion, the most exciting man in the room, Jack Perry defends against Daniel Garcia.
I hope Daniel Garcia.
I hope so too. TBS champion, the most exciting person in the room, Mercedes Moné, defends against Chris Statlander.
Unfortunately, Mercedes will win that. I don't want it to, but she'll win.
I mean, what's going on with Statlander? Is Statlander supposed to be a face or a heel or a tweener or what?
She's a face now.
Wow, that was the shortest heel run since the Big Show.
When what's his name left her side, she became a babyface. She did a promo saying that she'd strayed off her ways and stuff, and yada yada yada.
That's all a bit much, really. And finally, your main event, Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship against Orange Cassidy.
I mean, I think we all know who's going to win that.
Bryan Danielson.
Yes, of course. Wheeler Yuta.
Wheeler Yuta. Look, I'm not as hyped for... I'm hyped for about 25% of this card.
Yeah. It's the same story we say with every AEW card. Like, it's going to be a great show. I know it's going to be a great show. A lot of it seems very predictable to me, which is, I haven't been able to say for a lot of AEW cards in the past.
Yeah, I'm not as hyped for this as I should be. One thing I am hyped for, of course, is Wrestle Kingdom, which happens on Saturday, January 19th. Wrestle Kingdom 19, which happens on Saturday, January 4th. Wow, I messed that up. Shit, I messed that up. Yeah. Let's start from the bottom. We've got our IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. The champions, Kushida and Kevin Knight, defend against TJP and Francesco Akira, Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney, and of course, your Super J Tag Team winners, Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita. Who do you think is going to win that one?
I want Robin Fuge to win that. I
want Robbie and Sweetwater to win it as well. NJPW World TV Champion Ren Narita defends against Jeff Cobb and Rahia Oiya in a three-way. Don't ask me to say that again. Who's going to win that one and why?
I don't think you said it the first time, mate. I think Ren Narita wins it. I hope he does anyway. I hope he retains.
Yeah, I think so too. In a match that's bound to be an absolute banger, this will slap. There is no way it won't. Dookie will defend against El Desperado. El Desperado. I think Dookie's going to win that.
Yeah, same. But I love Despy, so I wouldn't mind if Despy did.
Yeah, it's still going to be good. Another great match. David Finlay defending against Yota Tsuji for the IWGP Global Championship. I'm going to put my money on Tsuji for that.
Yeah, I think Tsuji wins it, but it feels like one hell of a consolation prize, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, sorry, mate, we don't want to put the world title on you, but we're going to give you the global championship instead.
You're probably the most over person in the company outside of the world champion, so we're going to, Hiroshi Tanahashi against Evil. I mean, this is kicking off Hiroshi Tanahashi's farewell tour.
Yeah. I would say Tanahashi wins it, but also they might just put Evil over because it's the guy saying this is my last year, I'm going to put over as many people as possible.
Pretty much. And finally, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Your champion, Zack Sabre Jr., will be defending against Shota Umino. Yeah? Who's going to win it?
It doesn't really scream like Wrestle Kingdom main event, does it?
No. Who would you put in there?
Is it because...
I mean, obviously, Zack.
It would have been Yota Tsuji.
Yeah.
That would have been the guy.
For mine, it would have been Tsuji or Sonata. Sonata, yeah. I could.
See, have you seen Sonata's going back to blonde Sonata?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now he's with War Dogs. He dyed his hair blonde again.
I don't like that he's with War Dogs, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's with the weakest part of
Iteration of Bullet Club.
Like, yeah, look, it's going to be remotely interesting. I think Sonata's going to be somewhere in the card. There's going to probably be another match or two announced alongside the Rumbo and some other bits and pieces. As the person who's probably the closest to a New Japan guy on the podcast, I'm looking forward to this. I always do. Wrestle Kingdom is never bad. But there's no match that screams, fuck, I need to not miss this show. So, for example, this year it was Bryan Danielson and Okada. You knew you wanted to see them go one more time. And it paid off. It was a fantastic 19 minutes. There's nothing doing that this year. Saying that, New Japan are pulling some great shows out, and they really have started to right the ship. And then on Sunday, January 5, as part of Wrestle Dynasty, win, lose, or draw, current IWGP champion Zack Sabre Jr. will be going up against Ricochet.
Yeah. And also, Ishii will be taking on the winner of Takeshita and Takagi.
Yeah, that's also in there. We haven't put that in yet, but Takeshita and Takagi will fight each other. I think Takeshita's going to win that. So Takeshita Ishii is going to be great. Even though Ishii, much like Tanahashi's got less days in front of him than he does behind.
Yeah.
Because when he retires, he has to go be a doorstop somewhere. Anyway, I'm awfully proud of that.
Yeah.
I hope.
I just kept thinking of. I was trying to thinking of like plug puns, but I couldn't think of anything that wasn't dirty.
Yeah. So a doorstop. See, I hope he
Yeah.
doesn't hear this and take it out on me, because that would be a bit shit. Speaking of shit, every week here, the name of the podcast, Making Chicken Shit, Making Chicken Salad. What was your chicken shit this week, Todd?
You know what? I don't actually have.
It's been a good week.
Yeah, it hasn't been like a shitty wrestling week for me, so...
I've got one.
Okay, you go then.
I love that Raw is 3 hours. I think it's great that it's cut down to 2 hours. I think it's fantastic. But on a personal note, and this is all I could find this week, fuck, I miss Chad Gable.
Yeah.
When it was 3 hours, he was featured so heavily, and he was on almost every week. Now he seems to be a jobber to the stars and an also-ran. And I miss him being a threat, and I miss him featuring as much as he did. It's not really a shit. It feels like it's a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, no, I understand. I get you. It's just, I think they've spent so long doing weekly 3-hour shows that they're finding it hard to like time out a 2 hour, even though they've been doing it for SmackDown for God knows how long. I just think they're finding it hard because I know that Raw's always had a bigger roster because they went an extra hour. So now they've got to do all that with, it's hard.
Like I'm enjoying it. It's not that I'm not enjoying it, but I really miss Chad Gable because one of my first chicken salads was he was doing the shush please gimmick at the time. So the Alpha Academy, and he was a heel, and I said that guy will take anything you give him and give it 1,000% and make it work. He fucking did it with Shorty G. So I think something like that deserves to be rewarded, and it feels like they've made this great heel stable, and they're just not quite rewarding them enough. I don't know. Have you got anything while I was sort of?
No, like honestly, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that's really, and it's unusual because I kind of live on anger, but like. But no, there's been nothing that's really been like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know what I mean? There's nothing that's really.
Yeah. And even that's not like, that's a pretty soft chicken salad, chicken shit, really.
Yeah.
It's a chicken wet fart.
Very good.
But with the shit comes the good stuff. I'm sure you've got something you like this week, Todd. What was it? What did you enjoy?
I'm really like, and I know we say this a lot. I really like. I know that they're still cooking the whole New Day split up thing, but I really like the whole like side thing that's going on with R-Truth and Pete Dunne.
Oh, it's so funny. You mean Butch?
No. Pete's a great guy. Butch, I don't like Butch.
I don't like Butch. Don't call him Butch. Don't call Pete Pete. He hates it.
Yeah, I just love how like it was like after they did the thing and then Kofi had set the match, and as R-Truth was walking off like on Monday, he goes, "You did it again, Truth." He's sort of like, "Oh man!" He's like, he knows he's fucked up. He's just like, "You did it again." Just makes me laugh. He says he is so good value, and also like this is an underrated one, not an underrated one. It's the one that I don't know if it's going to be controversial or what. Much as the way you talk about like Chad Gable making anything like making great good stuff out of anything, you've got to give it to the Miz.
Oh God,
being able to work with anything he's being thrown at him.
God, yeah.
Like that stuff this week when like they did the whole swerve where he wasn't a part of the Last Testament. Now he is a part of the Last Testament because he just did that so they could sucker the Wyatts into the ring. I really enjoyed it. I think it was something because I watched. It was a clip that popped up on X the other day, and it was like Bobby Lashley was saying how he's a massive fan of Miz, and he was just like, the guy has worked for 20 years in the WWE. He has like a $4 million house. He's married to Maurice. He's like, everyone at his work loves him. If you have a problem with Miz, the problem is probably you.
Well, you look at the way he was treated when he walked through the door, which was abysmal. It was abysmal.
Yeah.
And the fact that he lasted through that and has come out the other side and makes hay with whatever he's given. I personally think he turned a little prematurely. I'd have kept the tag team going for a while longer because they work together. The Awesome Truth works. But I think, and Corbin said it when he went down to NXT and was working NXT for a while. He said, I want to be the next Miz. I want to be at that point where people go, he's been around for that long, we've got nothing but respect for him. And I think that's the way it is with the Miz. Miz also wrestles like, Bryan Danielson said it. He wrestles a safe style. You never hear of the Miz injuring anybody. And he's able to do it night after night after night. And the guy's living his dream, and he's got a really, really good lifestyle. And you've got to give him credit. Look,
Yeah. Like, as much as you're never going to get a, like, Dave Meltzer 5-star match out of him, you need those guys that hit singles and doubles. You don't have to have a roster full of home run hitters.
No.
And that's what Miz does. Miz goes out and goes, look, I need this out of you tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I'll do that. Yeah. Like when he decides to retire, he'll probably have a job for life at WWE, just presenting or commentating or
he'll
whatever.
teach promo
just because of the way he
class.
works.
Or he'll teach promo class. He gives a great promo. I do want to shout out Rosie, who said he can relate to your use of anger to define him with. Great show, lads. Thank you, Rosie. That's lovely of you to hear. Lovely to hear. Jamie from Pario Magazine, Chicken Salad. Lena Cross winning the Sendai Girls Tag Team titles. I'm sure Lena Cross is already on an Oz Wrestling card. But if you want your Oz Wrestling cards, go to pariomagazine.com.au. And I hope I said that right, Jamie. And grab your Oz Wrestling cards for the year. And David Ford, talking about the Miz, says that's the style that'll hold up to 300 shows a year. Exactly. And if you look at the guy, he's in great shape. He's in terrific shape.
Also a chicken salad too. I just want to look it up and see what the name of the thing is. It's a podcast called The Pivot, I think. Is it called The Pivot? Sorry, I'll just derail the show right now.
You're all right.
Yeah, it's called The Pivot. They had it's a bunch of guys from the NFL that sit around and they talk to people every week, like different things. Last week they had Seth Rollins on there. Really good podcast. So
if you want to,
so if you want a good I think it's like 40 minutes, but it's just a really interesting, different side to like Seth. Like talks a lot about like family life with Becky, and also the fact that he's now becoming like an elder statesman. Talk a little bit about the WWE ID, how he's like the school and all of that. It's a really, really interesting podcast. I sort of stumbled across a 30-second clip on YouTube, and I found the podcast from that, and then listened to it on the way to work. It was a really good listen. So yeah, if you're looking for something to listen to on the road and you've already listened to this show, listen to that.
That links in nicely to my chicken salad, but it was probably more a chat with Colby Tyler than Seth Rollins, which is always nice. It's always nice when they just drop the veneer a little bit and talk about what goes on in there.
Well, there was one part when they were talking about his first night with Becky, and they were like, oh, did you give her the thing? He said, no, that was more for Kobe Lopez. That had nothing to do with Seth.
Kobe Lopez.
That's Kobe's story. That's Colby's story. Colby's going to stay with that.
Good. I've got a couple of chicken salads, as I often do. Firstly, the Chris Van Vliet interview with Grayson Waller was really entertaining this week. Have a listen. Whether you call him Grayson Waller or Matty Wahlberg or his other names. He's got a couple of others. Really an entertainer. He goes out there to entertain and be hated. And he doesn't mind being hated. In fact, he wants to be hated. He wants to have children giving him the finger and grandmothers booing him and stuff like this. But first and foremost, he's an entertainer. And a really, really nice interview. A little bit about his journey. He did touch on Sydney and some of his experiences here. And I've got a lot of time for Waller, both as a human being, but also as an entertainer. And this was great. This was a really good listen. So after you've listened to The Pivot, listen to CVV's interview this week, because it's a good one. It's a good one. The Matty Origin story was awesome. Yeah. Andy from Bob Vance Refrigeration, Chicken Salad is the natural classics in Tag League. He thinks that he'll win people over like the Velocities did, possibly. I don't know. But my other Chicken Salad is this week's episode of NXT. It was just a beauty. Again, like really focusing on a great women's division in NXT. It's almost a women's only show, but they're bringing back the Iron Survivor match, which I really enjoyed last year. It was such a unique concept and such a wonderful thing to see. So the fact that they're bringing it back is really great. The little bit of tension between Julia and Stephanie Vaquer was wonderful. The promo from Zaria was great. It just held together as a lovely couple of hours. If you want to watch, and it's back to the old style NXT, not necessarily in look, not necessarily in feel, but it's that it goes by so quickly and is so riveting and captivating. My only complaint is Booker T. It's my only complaint about the show.
Yeah,
he's a shit.
I cannot stand him.
He's a terrible commentator. But such an enjoyable show. I really, really like this week's NXT. The main event, which was essentially Fatal Attraction against the former North American title holder, who I think will be brought up very, very soon. It was a great main event. It was really, really good. Shows you how far Fallon Henley has come. Just a wonderful show. Beetle Bailey also said, I very much love the CVV podcast with Grace. Yeah, it was great. Pario agrees. Booker totally ruins the show for Pario when he watches it occasionally. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I just wish I wish they'd get someone else, like anyone else except JBL, and I would be very, very, very happy. Maybe start sending the Miz down and get him to do what he does. Well, I guess we're talking about chicken shit. We're talking about chicken salad. Another little piece of chicken salad is this thing behind me. WrestleBrania is going to Adelaide for the first time ever. We are going to be in Adelaide between March 14 to 17. There are 4 nights. We are currently working on who we are going to be working with. I'll make that announcement soon. But we cannot wait to do this again with you in the room. If you're in Adelaide, tickets will be on sale soon. We'll tell you more soon. We'll tell you the venue soon. We cannot wait to do that. Of course, we're coming back for Comedy Festival for WrestleBrania 8. So 7 will become 8 when we come back for Comedy Festival. Again, we want you there, but we're going to have an all-new venue. We'll tell you about that soon as well. So there you go. Todd, anything else to add?
I'm trying to remember. What was WrestleMania 8? What was that main event?
It's Stars and Stripes Forever. It's Hogan against
That was 7. Hogan was 7.
Oh, no, it is WrestleMania 7. So it will be WrestleMania 7. Sorry.
There you go.
This is 6. It will be 7. So it'll be Slaughter against Hogan. And I'll tell you the tagline after the show. It's a good one.
Oh, sorry. Andy has just asked a question. Is this going to coincide with RCW Fringe shows? Yeah? That could be fun.
What? Andy from Bob Vance Refrigeration. Always will be fun. WrestleBrania is a fun time. We can't wait to do it with you in the room. That's I think that should be it's a good way to, yeah.
We can't wait to do it with you in the room.
Yeah.
It would be, no.
You know what
Yeah.
Yeah. You bit. Yeah.
I nearly jabbed back, but I stopped. See?
You bit.
Growth. That's growth.
Speaking of biting, you can bite down on Chicken Salad every Thursday night here live on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/WrestleRadioAU. You can follow Todd Eastman at Beast Eastman on a lot of social media. You can follow me on Blue Sky now at Jeff-Seti. Or you can follow WrestleBrania on at Wrestle_Brania. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. And you can follow Wrestle Radio Australia everywhere. You can follow our good friend Lachlan Albert at Nightmare BCC. You can follow Jamie's project Pario Magazine at Pario Magazine, I guess. And don't forget to check out those wrestling cards. There'll be some exciting announcement of that coming soon, I am sure. Todd, have we got anything else to add?
Yes, Monday night. We made the decision before Monday night we have our AEW special. I don't know if any Australian podcasts are going around. They're probably going to be promoting these ones. Lachlan had the chance to sit down with Darby Allin and also Kyle Fletcher. So we're going to be playing those two interviews on Monday night. So do tune in then. It won't be a live one. It's a pre-recorded conversation, but it'll be up on how you're watching this and how you're taking in this on the Monday night. It'll be on podcasts on the Tuesday morning, sort of thing like that. And then on YouTube, I'll probably upload it as two separate interviews as well. So, yeah, Darby Allin and Kyle Fletcher.
And don't forget, if you are listening to us on podcast, why not give us a 5-star review? It helps us get into more people's ears. So, yeah, give us a 5-star review. Leave a comment. We have a good time. We've had some great people drop in tonight. Pario Magazine, Andy from Bob Vance. We had Rosie come in. We've got Beetle Bailey and more besides. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us for the last hour and a half. Anything else to add, Todd?
No, I'm just vamping until I can get to my thing. Yeah, no, okay. That's all, mate. Yeah.
That's all.
I don't know what we're going to review next week.
No, I've got no idea. But we'll find something.
We'll have to have a look. We'll find something.
Check us out. Next week we'll be here about the same time. Hopefully Lachlan will be back. And I'm glad Todd could finally hear us for the...
In the podcast, no one will know that happened. No one will know that happened.
Sadly missing Lachlan Albert and Todd the Beast Eastman. I've been Jeff Seti. We'll see you next week. Stay safe. Good night.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's